Alright, so we took a look at the drive, and remember how to get to the drive. When you're in your Google accounts, if you go to the waffle and you click on Drive, it'll take you to your drive. Always make sure that you're in your school account if that's where you want to be. So you're in the account you want to be in. And so here we have our drive, and in the last lesson we learned how to create a shared folder. So here I am in my drive, and there's a couple ways I can find that folder. The name of the folder was DLW Google Basics. So if I search for that, it'll pop up there, so that's nice. That's one way you can find it. Another way to find it is if you click on the little arrow by the My Drive, and then scroll down, you'll see it right here, and or you can just search through there. Remember, Google is a search engine, and they do that very well. So one thing about all of the organization that you do in your folders, also remember that you can search for anything in the document, anything in the folder, and find it quite easily just by searching your drive that way. So we're going to create a document with like a word processing document in this activity, and I can just start by going to New and then create this Google Doc. And that will just put it into my drive, and that's fine, and that would be the way I would normally do it. But since I know that this document that I'm creating, I want to have it in my Google Basics folder, I'm going to start by opening my Google Basics folder. So now I'm in my Google Basics folder, and now I'm going to create the document. So now that document will go straight into that folder without me having to move it there. So I'm going to click on New and go to Google Docs, and it's going to ask me if I actually do want to do that. Alright, you're creating this document and it's a shared folder. Do you want to do that? So in this case I do. If not, you can move it out of the folder and just work in your drive. For this case, we want to create the document within our Google Basics folder. That will save you a step later on. Okay, so I have my Word document. It looks basically like any other word processing program that you might find, and so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the basic editing tools, but I did want to point out a couple of different things for you, and we're going to create a document together. So first thing always is to title your document. And again, I'm really big on some kind of naming convention so that it does make it easier for you to remember how to search for it. Or when you start with the title of the activity, you'll have and you're getting several shared with you, you would get that whole list of that activity together. So it's a great way to do that. So for this one, we're going to do DLW Google Basics. Whoops. And this is Docs. Okay, and then write your name. I'm writing my name. You write your name. And okay. So already, if I look up here at this folder, you'll see that this is already in this folder. Okay? If you just created it in your drive and you clicked on this folder here, you would have the opportunity to add it to a folder there. So remember that for later. So now I've got my document. You'll notice that your normal editing tools, your bold, italics, your font size, your fonts here. One thing I want to point out about the fonts is when you're just starting to use Google Drive, they give you a set of fonts. If there's more fonts that you want, if you come down here to more fonts, they've got more fonts, and you can add the ones that you want. So that's a good thing to remember. If you think, oh man, in Microsoft Word I could do so many more fonts, just remember that those fonts are, or many fonts are available in Google Docs as well. And then, so your font size here, the viewing options, all of those things normally you would see in whichever document you're doing. You'll notice this right here, this is a commenting feature. And so the nice thing about this is when you're collaborating with others, so like when you share this document with me, I will probably comment on it. And I could highlight a section of text, think of your students, and then if I click on the comment, it's not, there's nothing there yet, so it's not letting me do it. So, now it'll work. So if I click on the comment here, then I could actually comment on this little bit of text right there. Great for working with your students. They get the comments on the side. You don't write all over their paper, and they can work with that. There's other commenting features. If you look over here to editing, you have different ways that you can edit. So you can actually get in and jump in and edit the document directly and change things. If you're working with students, or if you're working on a project where there's more than one opinion, then you can do suggesting. So you can highlight the part and then you can suggest what you would like to do. Or you can do viewing, where once you've got it all done, you can see what the final document's going to look like. Okay, so that's one great tool with Google Docs. Is the fact that what makes it so great is that it's collaborative. It's very easy to share and work on things with other people, and you don't have to keep reinventing. You know, here's this, and then somebody says, oh, let's change this, so you have to completely have a new document. It's the same document, it's a working document, and more than one person can work on the document. All great things to know. I wanted to show up here the insert tool, so you can see some of the things that you can insert into a document. You can insert images, and the images can be from your Google Drive. They can be from a URL, so an image that has a URL attached to it. They can be from any image that you have stored on your computer. So there's where you can get your images. You can insert links, so link to a website or something like that. Equations, and so it does have an equation editor in here. Good to know for math teachers. There's also math and science teachers. There's also some add-ons, and that's going to be in the Google Guru lessons. But there's a math equation editor that's a little more robust than this one. There's a drawing tool. Drawing is one of the tools, the Google apps that you have in your Google Drive, but you can open it up right in your Google Doc, and we're going to do that in a minute, and put a drawing in. Tables, just like you could do tables in Microsoft Word. You can insert footnotes. You can insert horizontal lines, page numbers, bookmarks, table of contents, all of those things here. Different ways to format, same tools that you have here. The tools are really great. I'm going to share a couple of these tools with you today. I encourage you to experiment with others. Here's your table tool, and this is add-ons, and we're not really going to talk much about add-ons right now, but that's another good thing to explore, and there will be other courses that go into add-ons. But these are programs that have been written that work within Google Docs that make it work better. So there's an easy bib tool, so for creating bibliographies. This GMath is what I was talking about as far as the equation editor. Excuse me. There's a speech recognition, so you can actually speak and it will write your Google Doc. Of course, you know, speech recognition isn't perfect, but it's a good start if you want to just get your thoughts out. And so there's some different ones there. To explore those, if you go to your add-ons and you go to Get Add-ons, you'll come up with this whole library of different add-ons that you can search and try. All right, so I wanted to share all that. Now together we're going to create a document, and I'm going to try to use a few of the features that you might not normally know that you could use. So we've already labeled our document. These are my steps for whenever I start a document. Label my document. Now if my document, especially if I'm working with students, if my document is going to be shared, I like to teach my students to, right when they write the name of their document, go ahead and share it with their teacher. Okay? In this case, it's already in a shared folder, so it's already being shared. If I went in to the folder that you shared with me and opened it up, I would see your blank page and your title right there, and then I could actually see you working on this particular document. So that's great to know with students. I can see your progress. If you teach your students to share at the beginning, you can watch their progress along the way. If you teach them to share when they're ready to publish or to send it to you, then you're not going to know how far along they are in the project. So that's up to you based on whatever the project is. But it is nice to be able to kind of monitor their progress, give them encouragement or hints along the way and that kind of thing. Okay, so that's that. If you're sharing a document that isn't already in a shared folder, you would go over here to share, and you'll see it's shared with somebody already. It's shared with me, but I can share it with more people if I want. So maybe it's in the folder, but I want to share this specific document with other people as well. I can do that. So those are all those things. Now we're gonna work through some steps, and these steps are going to be written as well. But this is your assignment for Google Docs. What we're going to do is we are going to make a document telling our favorite restaurant pick. Okay, and I would love to keep it local so we can see maybe get some good ideas of where to eat in this area. And local could be Bellingham, Seattle, whatever. But you can do whatever you want. This is really just for fun and to learn how to use some of the tools. So I'm going to write my favorite restaurant. Okay. And then I'm going to, so, you know, we all know how to do that. I'm going to add a table, and my table is going to have 3 lines, 3 columns, and 2 rows. See how I did that? I just chose what I wanted there. And if you decide that you need another row, if I just click on there and I go to table, it'll let me add a row above, below, insert columns, that kind of thing. So here I've got this, and I'm going to put name, if I can write, name, location, and review. Okay, so this is something you could easily do in Microsoft Word, but now I'm going to try to show you a few cool things that you can do with Google Docs. Maybe you can do them with Microsoft Word too, but you can do them here. So the name of my favorite restaurant in Mount Vernon is Ratchawaddy Cafe. Okay, now if I highlight Ratchawaddy Cafe and I go to Tools and Research, again, the beauty of Google is it's a search engine, so all of a sudden, all this information about Ratchawaddy Cafe comes up over here. So I want to, first of all, there's a website for Ratchawaddy Cafe, so if I hover over that, I've already got this highlighted here, so I'm just going to hit Insert Link. So now I have a link to my restaurant right here. And I also want to put the location in here. So I'm going to put my cursor in my spot for location, and I'm just going to click Insert. And now I have a map to where Ratchawaddy Cafe is. I have a link to their website, and then I can write my review right here. I want something else though. I want a picture of Ratchawaddy Cafe. So if you look up here, this drop down menu right by the G, I can say all I want to see is images. Here's some images of Ratchaburi. I'm going to just drag that picture right into my document. Again, another very cool thing about that is I drag the picture in there and you'll see there's a little 1 down here. I look down at the bottom of my page. It has inserted the source of my image down here at the bottom. So I'm staying all copyright friendly there and everything. So I've got my image, I've got my map, and then I could write my review right here. So what I want you to do, I'll go over the steps again. I want you to, for this part, I want you to write my favorite restaurant. Then we're going to bold that, and we're going to change the font. And I'm just making things up now. And I'm going to change the size of the font. Okay. I'm going to make that a title. Whoops, I keep doing that with my... Okay, I'm going to change the color. So I'm going to go to the A with the color, change the color, go with red, and then you're going to create a table. So remember how to create a table by going to table up here, insert table, and decide how many columns and rows you want. And then you're going to add the information. And you can add the information however you would like. But what I did was I went to my research tool. So I went to Tools and Research, and that popped up over here. I searched. I already had it highlighted, so it searched. But if I didn't, like if I wanted to look for another restaurant, like Jorge's. Mount Vernon. There's some food from Jorge's, Mexican food, so I could find that as well. Right now it's on images. You'll notice so you can search for the different things. So if I search for everything, Jorge's Kitchen is right there. I've got probably some reviews for that. I could actually take a review from over here. If I want to use any of that information, of course I don't for this particular thing, I could preview it. Hover. I can preview. I can insert a link, or I could cite. And if I cite that resource, that would end up down in my footnotes. Those are good things to know. Another thing, if I'm looking at the images, and I want only the images that are copyright friendly, meaning I have permission to use, free to use. And then of course that gives me crazy stuff on this particular one, but anyway, I can filter by free to use and share. I can also decide how I want the things to be cited, so MLA, APA, or Chicago. This is one of my favorite tools, is the research tool. So do that. Now another thing I want to show you how to do is, so we know how to make a table now, we know how to change font, we know how to use the research tool to add pictures and maps and links, and now I want to show you how to insert an image. Insert a drawing. So I'm going to go up here to Insert, and I'm going to go to Drawing. Now Drawing is a separate program, like I said, in Google Docs. That's a choice you have to make a drawing. But you can also create a drawing right within your Google Doc. And all kinds of things you could do with that. You could create something with the shapes, like a flow chart or something like that. All kinds of things. Equations again. I didn't go to the equation stuff. So if you've got something that doesn't fit your regular, what you want to put in your Google Doc, you can use drawings to add some different things like that. Text boxes that you can move around like you would a picture, that kind of thing. So just a silly thing we're going to do here is under the line tools, the scribble. I want you to write something about your restaurant that you chose. Now I'm doing this with my finger on a trackpad, so it's not perfect, but and then I could change the line thickness, the color. Well, I could change the color if I go here. Oh, can change the color. I can change the thickness of the line. So now I have my drawing, and if I hit save and close, that will show up right in my document. Okay? So I'm going to list the things that I want you to try to do in your document. You can get creative and do something a little bit different, but I just wanted to show you a couple of those tools. Again, the wonderful thing about Google Docs is two things. The connection to Google Search, which makes it easy to pull in research and that kind of thing, and then also the ability to collaborate by commenting and by sharing with others. So now your document is ready to go. If it wasn't saved in the place that you wanted to save it, you would save that now. And make sure it's shared with me, and you're ready to go.